So this picture here is the Whatever podcast, and this is kind of what men's self-help kind of has become in 2026, 2025. Basically, I guess since the pandemic, since the recovery there. And in this video, we're going to talk about kind of what happened in the kind of men's self-help space, why everything kind of converted over to, I don't even know what pill you would call this. This isn't like red pill. This is like weird, like women shaming podcasts, and why these kind of videos are the most popular in 2026. And this video is going to be kind of like a little bit of a divergence from the normal content, but I think it's important we talk about this kind of stuff because in order for guys to actually come back to reality and wake themselves up, we have to understand how we got here in the first place, right? And that way people can kind of, it's like, oh yeah, okay, so this is kind of why this content exists now, right? And then we can actually choose the content that will help us instead of watching this kind of stuff, right? Not to shit on these guys, but like, they're just doing them. We'll talk about why they even made the podcast in the first place, right? It's quite genius. Guys, if you like this channel, scroll down, hit that subscribe button. Let us grow this treadmill, this man on the treadmill talking. Let's grow this channel together. All right, so what happened? We're gonna talk about the men's self-help arena back in my day, the differences between what it was back in my day versus what it is now, how we got here, why it's here, what you can do about it, and the value you can extract from it, right? So back in my day, we didn't really have podcasts, right? We had forums and we had newsletters, right? This is like the mid 2000s, early 2010s, right? And back then, the internet was much more free in what you were allowed to post. There was much less censorship, right? Actually, I'm gonna move my screen over. There was much less censorship. And here's kind of what happened. And the whole like Julian thing and everything too, it all kind of spiraled out of control a little bit there, right? But basically what happened, back in the day, the concept of rage bait was just kind of becoming a thing. And we would actually have to write down things that we tested, things that worked. The OG men's self-help content was actually people showing examples of what worked and what didn't, right? And the thing was that let me tell you, man. The concept of a pickup artist is it's legit, man. It's a thing. It is actually a thing. Whether or not you study it, or whether or not you do it naturally, of course it's a thing. Sorry about that. That was my alarm. So anyway, it's a thing, right? So pickup artistry, you can train, you can get good at it. And that was actually the fundamental problem back then, right? And it feels like almost like a psyop of what kind of happened. So you have all this content online showing men how to actually achieve results with women, like tangible ones, right? And the problem with that is with great power comes great responsibility, right? You can have men using these, they're not even tactics, man. Like they are and they're not. It's kind of like you're giving basically the entire problem of what was going on back back then was you're giving men who are not supposed to spread their seed the ability to spread their seed. That's kind of like the Darwinism aspect of it. Like, this beta male should be weeded out from the gene pool. He's not supposed to have a partner, right? Because he's too beta. And when you train him up with social skills, you're giving him a tool in his tool belt to attract a female, right? It's kind of like, I'm trying to use an animal analogy. You're giving a horse or a donkey zebra stripes. You're painting over a donkey with zebra stripes to attract a zebra when the donkey's not supposed to be able to, right? And then what ended up happening with that is pickup artistry finally became such a well-known thing, like it became mainstream. Actually, to this day, you can see that people use the words like pull, I pulled a chick, or mog, amog. Like, these terms that people are using these days are all from back then. Do you know what I'm saying? And people don't understand even where these words came from, but they're using them. So that means that shows you the social impact that this kind of stuff was actually doing. Now, when we think about it, there's two frames that can come from, right? On the one hand, it's a very noble cause, which is actually why I started this channel too, because I can, for you guys that know me on my tech content, I can see in real time, on a minute-by-minute basis, how down bad men are in 2026. It's kind of the same thing of why I started my tech channel. I started that one because I wanted to combat misinformation. This one is very similar, where I want to combat the misinformation of men's health in 2026 by actually providing people real information and good information, right? And not one, I'm trying to be like this in-between guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's help guys get to where they need to be, but in a natural way, so that when they attract a woman, they deserve it. Do you know what I'm saying? And they respect women, and they're not like weird, resentful little shits. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe, I guess you could say, I want both genders to put themselves in the other person's shoes so they can understand each other, right? If we can get there, we'll be in a much better place for it. Both genders, all of society will be in a better place, right? So anyway, the two lanes that's happening there was the noble aspect of it, where the teachers back, now, the teachers were, there's both kinds, right? There's like the pieces of shit, and there's the noble ones, right? But back then, the teachers, the noble ones, their actual goal and real goal was to try to help guys, man. A lot of those older teachers, they were like weird kids too, man. Like, why do you think, so think about it. Think about how weird you have to be. Like, try to put yourself back like 20 years ago, right? Think about how weird you had to be to look up on the internet how to pick up girls. Because, well, think about it. You would have had to have been so nerdy and such like undesirable man in order to have to Google that shit. Nowadays, it's actually more normalized to do that, which I think that's actually a pro. That's probably how you found this channel. You're looking for research and information on how to actually improve as a man and attract the other sex, right? So, like, it's much more normalized now, but back then, you would have had to have been a giga nerd to actually, and the field reports that people used to write, like 10 paragraph, like novels of like in-field field reports. Think about like how nerdy these guys would have had to have been. Like, Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not shitting on them. I'm saying like that's what it was back then, right? So you have like this band of nerds that compared notes with each other to try and figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? They're all nerds. All of them are nerds, right? Because why would a natural have to do that stuff? The concept wouldn't have entered his head, right? A natural would just pick up girls and just not have to research how to do it because he's good at it. Do you know what I'm saying? So obviously, you have to be bad at something to research how to get good at it, right? So that's like the noble cause of it. Then you have the bad apples, where their only goal was to use these skills to sleep with as many women as possible. And like, you're always gonna have like psychopaths and that kind of stuff in any kind of field. And unfortunately, one or two bad apples can ruin it for the whole bunch, right? So now fast forward to now. The bad apples, that entire kind of content has been censored away now. Which, it was funny enough, even on this channel, I have to be careful how I title and word videos because some of them get shadowed. And it's like, if you actually go into my videos and look at the topics that we're talking about, it's all very good stuff. Like, it's all not misogynistic and it's like normal, but it still gets shadowed because of the relatability of the what's censored now, right? That's a big problem, man. So that kind of content got censored. It got buried to the ground during the pandemic. And then there was kind of this lull in the men's space for a couple of years. And then you saw Fresh and Fit, whatever podcast. You saw these other kind of the red pill type of stuff really take off, man. Like skyrocketed. Now, here's the thing. Here's kind of the conundrum of the entire thing, right? That style of content isn't actually designed to help men at all. To be fair, I actually don't even know why that content is allowed to be on the platform, but helping men isn't. Think about it. So the podcast red pill kind of content, it's like, let's get 10 chicks on here, and then let's just call them hoes and hate on them. And then like, you get like all these super chats from like a bunch of incels saying these hoes ain't shit and like, it's fascinating, man, because it's like the podcast hosts, it's like this giant like Ponzi scheme of some sort. Like if you go and you actually watch the interviews with the podcast girls, they're always like, why did you volunteer to come on this podcast knowing that you're just gonna get like debasted and shit on? Why would you do that? And the answer always is to boost my social media, to boost my OnlyFans, to boost my subscriber numbers, right? And so you're like, what? How does that make any sense, right? So these guys that are like super chatting about how the girls are like 304s and all this, they're the same guys that are going and subscribing to those girls as OnlyFans. And then so now you have this like, it's almost like this unwritten like agreement between the podcast hosts and the girls. It's like, we have a like the podcast is the platform, and it's like, we have the podcast, we are the platform. I'm gonna keep the donations I'm gonna call you a hoe. I'm gonna keep the subscriptions and the money. You're going to benefit by these nerds all subscribing to you, and we're both gonna get rich off of me shaming you publicly. And then the people that suffer are all those guys at the bottom watching that content. It's like the entire kind of severe there is designed to just monetize angry, lonely men. And there's no other goal to it. There is none. Like it doesn't actually show them any tangible advice. Doesn't show them how to get better. It does. They don't even like flirt with the girls like in real time. Like they don't flirt with them. Because at least if they flirted with the girl on camera, the nerd could see kind of how a social interaction is supposed to work, but they don't, right? So it really makes you wonder. I'm not a conspiracy kind of guy, but it really makes you wonder. How the hell is that type of content allowed on platforms without censorship when the only goal is to farm nerds? And the actual useful type of content that gives you step-by-step guides on like how to go clubbing, what time of the night are you supposed to approach, what time of the night are you supposed to kind of pick your top 3 girls for the night, at what point do you commit to one to try and get her home, like things that, it's like all these kind of like tactics are things that you would learn just constantly going out on your own anyway. But if you have a guy who maybe doesn't have a lot of time to go out, he goes out once a week or once every 2 weeks, reading the schedule of how a clubbing night is supposed to go can just save that guy a lot of time and effort, right? It's good stuff. And then it might actually, he could be a good guy. That's the thing. The guy could be a really good guy. He could make a girl really happy someday. And they could have a great partnership. And yet he's like blocked from information that can help him. And he's only served information that is designed to make him hate women. There's the conspiracy right there. That's the psyop. It's like, so you're telling me content that is supposed to actually help guys, that's censored, and that's kind of, we're not gonna allow that. We don't want your genes to proliferate. We don't want your genes to spread. Oh, but also this other content that has no goal but to make you resent women and like focus on hypergamy and body counts and all this shit. It's like, oh, so basically it's the destruction. There's like this, it feels to me like there is a global effort, literally, I'm not even kidding. There's like a global effort of, the effort is trying to destroy men and women coming together for some reason. Now here's the thing. I don't know if it's actually a concerted effort or if it's accidental. That's the thing, right? Because, so if you were Myron or that other whatever guy, if you were these guys, right? And the idea of social media, there's kind of 2 paths to like doing YouTube, right? There's being viral and monetizing through ad revenue. And then there's being niche, and then your audience kind of supports you, right? So like consulting or like channel memberships, because you're never gonna get enough views to actually make enough money through ad revenue. So when you're niche, you can actually help people. When you're super large, your only goal is to farm as many clicks as possible, right? So in 2026, this is post-pandemic, right? You already know that there's an entire generation of men or kids or boys or whatever, they're coming out of the pandemic with their social skills completely trashed because they were stuck in their houses for 2-3 years. So they're like these young men, these young adults, they're screwed. They're screwed, right? So you have like these podcasters, they're like, well, there's an entire generation of men that don't have social skills, and they're gonna be looking for how to socialize. So let's create a podcast hating on women, so that when they find that, they have something to watch, and that will validate their existence. The reason why I can't get a girl is because they're all sluts and all this kind of shit, right? And it's like, okay, so here's always kind of the ethical conundrum of social media. If you go the path of virality, like you want to go viral, you don't really care about helping people. You only care about clicks, right? So it's quite genius. So if there's an entire demographic of men that are just hating on women post-pandemic, and then you just create content that hates on women post-pandemic, well, shit, son, now all of a sudden you're viral and you're at the top of that algorithm all the time. And again, it could be like not on purpose, it's just like, I don't give a shit that these nerds hate women. I'm gonna take their money. Well, I don't care, right? That sounds like a them problem, and it does. That's the thing, right? It's not really the podcaster's problem. Now, the problem, now on a societal level though, right? Now you see all this woman-hating content being pushed to the top, getting served to everybody. And then, so now you're injecting the idea into other guys who didn't even search for the content anymore because it's such popular content, it gets served to others, right? And then what happens, the female side of things, they see how much money that is making, and then they make content saying men ain't shit, you deserve better, the man needs to make more money than you, he needs to have a six-pack, 6 foot tall. And then, so it's like, what the hell? So then you have like the woman hating, and then you have like the man hating, and then both genders don't want to actually improve themselves and become better people. They just want to blame the other one. And then you have this giant clusterfuck of everyone hating each other and nobody actually getting together. And then you're like, congratulations, guys. Congratulations, podcasters. Way to contribute to the downfall of, like, congratulations, man. It's actually the same thing as the dating apps, right? If you actually research how dating apps work, the conception of dating apps was they're supposed to match people together, right? And then I don't remember which one it was, but one of them was actually so successful at matching people together based on like their interests and stuff, they actually had to change the algorithm to make you match with people that you wouldn't be good with in order to keep you on the app longer. So, okay, so again, in order to make money, they're trying to farm you, not actually help you, right? And this is the biggest conundrum with society in general. Again, so it's a capitalist thing, right? It's like, if this person is so dumb that they are gonna use my app to find a match, well, I'm gonna farm them. If this person is so dumb to watch this podcast and hate on women for 2 hours a day, well, I'm gonna farm them. It sounds like a them problem. And so that's kind of the whole conundrum of the entire situation, right? So anyway, That's the difference between then and now, right? And when it comes to like red pill stuff, here's the thing. The reason why this works, and the last reason why this works, is because this new generation of men, for some reason, are very fearful in general. And people will say that, I don't want to approach because I can be filmed and put online or whatever. To that, I would say, who gives a shit? Like, there's didn't like Kylie Jenner like kill somebody or something? Like these celebrities like Mike Tyson or like OJ Simpson, like bro, like these people are like getting away with like murder and shit. And the internet is basically like a goldfish where if you have a scandal of some sort, which you're not gonna have here, unless you have like 1 million subscribers on some platform, nobody cares about you. So put it this way, you know all those like gym videos where like Joey Swole or whatever reacts to them, and it's like this girl doing squats in a gym, and a guy walks by and like looks at her ass or whatever. And then she's like, don't look at my ass. Why are you looking at me? Like that kind of shit. And then that scares a lot of guys, like that scenario, right? But think about it from the perspective of the viewer. So like I guarantee you've seen videos like that. Do you know who that guy was? And do you give a shit? And did you hear anything about that guy the next day? No. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's another thing where like humans are so disconnected from what is a person on a screen versus what a human is in real life. And I get this on my live streams all the time where like people don't think that I'm actually a real human. They just see me as like a character. Do you know what I'm saying? Which has its pros and cons, but the pro is don't be afraid to approach because you'll get recorded. Who gives a shit? Let them post that shit. If anything, you approach, look at Clav, man, Clavicular. That guy posts all of his failures all the time. Girls slapping him like biffing it, and he just gets more famous for it. Like nothing bad happens, guys. Like it's almost like people are using the filming angle as a cope not to approach. But the real thing is, I think it's a testosterone thing, but men in 2026 haven't learned that risk equals reward and women reward risk. Right? They reward confidence and risk taking, right? So it's like, these guys are all so petrified to literally do anything, they might not even know why. So then they go watch these podcasts. And that makes them feel better, and that helps them sleep at night. And welcome to the end of men, and welcome to hypergamy, and like one guy having 20 women to himself. The one guy that doesn't watch the... Do you think Leo DiCaprio is watching those podcasts? Do you think George Clooney is watching those? No! They're banging bitches right now. And that's what I'm saying. And like these guys aren't self-aware enough to help themselves, man. I guess that's what I wanted to say. If you do watch this channel and this content, I implore you to not watch that type of garbage. It will just make you resent women. It's not gonna help you. Have you seen those posts where like these guys go on these dates and the first thing they say is like, my boundaries are this. And then the girl's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, just vibe with me for 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, where do you think they got that from? the podcasts. Like, men are autistic, man. Anyway, I implore you, don't watch that type of stuff. Take care of yourself. Get actionable, real advice, okay? Hit me up on Instagram if you need information or you need some kind of help. I don't know what else to, I don't know. Obviously I can't help everybody for free, but I'm small enough now to where I can give maybe a little bit of a tip or two in my spare time while I'm treadmilling. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, guys, otherwise, scroll down, hit that subscribe button if you want to actually make a damn change in your life, okay? And stop watching this garbage. But I will see you in the next one anyway. Scroll down, subscribe. Later.